Well, that's it. The bubble has burst because Greater Vancouver real estate has plunged 26% according to BNN. And in this video, we're going to find out if that is true, at least in my marketplace here in Surrey, BC in the Fraser Valley, because this is the very first video that I've published on the channel after the latest statistics from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. And that means that this video is the Surrey Report. So we're going to get into all of the statistics on the other side of my team telling you all about Surrey.
Looking at our detached market, we have seen 261 sales in the month of April. That is down substantially from the 601 sales for the same period last year. Our benchmark price is $1,868,400. Prices are still up 0.9% month over month and 33.8% year over year.
And in Townhomes, benchmark price is around $938,000. Now that's a 0.3% increase month over month and a 37.7% increase year over year.
We had 272 condo sales with a benchmark price of $587,600, with a 1.3% month over month increase and a substantial 34% year over year increase.
There you go. Numbers are not that bad. Things are still going pretty good according to the numbers that we just saw. But we report here on Surrey combined numbers during the Surrey Report each and every month. And well, I'm going to dive into the numbers here with you to find out if those numbers are actually holding true. But not before I ask you to please subscribe to the channel if you would like to stay up to date on my market here in Surrey and the Fraser Valley. And please remember to click the like button. That alone is the best way that you can help me get this information out to other homeowners who apparently need to prepare for a 26% drop according to BNN. And because the bubble has apparently burst and you need help selling your home in now a down market, you can book a call with me right now down below in the description with just a few simple clicks. Or you can also book a call with me if you're thinking about taking advantage of the lower prices that are now, as opposed to the higher prices that were just a couple of months ago. And the best part is, if you don't want to use myself or my team as your real estate agents, YouTube has just done me the great favor of enabling super thanks. So if you want to go ahead down there and just say, hey, Steve, thanks for the advice, but I don't really like you or want to use you as a real estate agent, well, hey, is just down there. All right, let's dive into the numbers. I'm going to take you through a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to look at, which is what I look at every single day, is our back-end system, Paragon system. Sorry, you only get access to this if you are a real estate agent. This is under my license and membership and yada, yada, yada. But I love to look down here and see exactly what's going on now. This is only 3 working days of 21 working days in the month of May so far. So you can tell when I'm recording, obviously. And we can see that there are 616 new listings on the market currently, just being brought on the market this month so far, and only 178 sales. Now, here's where we can tell the market is headed. Last year at this time, we had almost, I mean, there were more, but we had almost the same amount of listings coming on the market. But we're talking like 3 times as many sales going on. So building inventory because not as many homes are selling, even though about the same amount of homes are coming on the market as just last year. Compared to last month, however, again, sales are lower. I mean, this is only 3 days, so that, you know, could be skewed definitely. But sales are lower for sure, and listings are higher. So this is actually heading in the right direction to give us a healthy real estate market. But a healthy real estate market does mean that prices are going to come down off of record highs. Now, record highs are obviously new highs. So I mean, it's not really crazy to think that prices are going to come down off of a record, because every single month can't be a new record. But let's pop into Stats Center and see, because the news article says Greater Vancouver has plunged 26%. You could go back and check out a video that I did about how the news likes to skew those numbers to make them look really, really terrifying. Now, that is Greater Vancouver. Surrey and the Fraser Valley is a little different, my market here. However, I will tell you that that report was number of sales. So because prices are not down 26%, they have to take the biggest shock value, which was number of sales, and apply that. And now it looks like the market is down 26% when really there are only 26% fewer sales. But let's get into Surrey. So this line here is the benchmark price for the whole entire Fraser Valley. And believe it or not, last month it still went up. But you'll notice that it was going up like super sharp all the way from September just this last year, and then in March it hit its kind of high at 1.372, and then it's gonna kind of gone sideways, right? So that's indicative of exactly what we expect benchmark, because benchmark is a lagging indicator. But what I want to do is I want to type in Surrey combined, and we're going to see that Surrey has gone along the same path, but I don't really like Surrey combined. I want to check out Surrey, North Surrey, Surrey, which is, this gets really fun, but these are actually all different areas, just so everybody knows. I'm going to also type in Cloverdale, and I'm going to type in South Surrey, White Rock. These are the four major areas that make up the city of Surrey, just so everybody can understand exactly what it is we're looking at. I'm going to scale this out here to 5 years. And there's not a big differentiation here between them. Obviously, North Surrey is the lowest price. It always has been. South Surrey tends to be the highest, and it looks like it is currently regaining that status after losing it ever so slightly to Cloverdale. But I don't like this because this is benchmark price, and this is also for all property classes. So I'm just going to drop this into detached, and then we're going to see the difference. And I can't believe this. I don't know if I can zoom in on this for you guys. Look at the dip in Cloverdale. Cloverdale actually has come back in benchmark price. I'm going to say they were 1,869 last month. Now, just in April, they are, well, they're down $50,000 in detached benchmark price. But again, I don't really like benchmark price to tell me where the market's going. It's good to see where the market has been, and it shows you a trend of what's happening. However, currently, I'm going to take a look at average price in these areas, and then you see the decline in every single market. Let's try and widen this out just so you can see what we're dealing with. So the reason I don't like average is because you'll see how kind of up and down all of these numbers are, because it's just a calculation and it's not a rolling number whatsoever. But you'll see that everything took off. Nobody believes me, but if you actually look at last July, particularly in South Surrey, White Rock, there were deals there. And then it took off again. But everybody in February hit their peak and has now come off. So we are seeing declines. For instance, South Surrey, White Rock hit 2.4 in detached homes in just February. And now in detached homes average price, it's down to 2.13. So we're talking more than a 10% drop in South Surrey in less than 2 months. Now, what is it the news likes to talk about? Now, again, this is all detached homes, so let's keep going. The news likes to talk about the number of sales. So you can see here, this is the number of sales happening in each one of these areas in detached homes. Well, it's easy to say, hey, Surrey has a 64% drop in the market. Well, that's true for number of sales, but it's not true in price. It's just not the way it is in average price. Let's go to Surrey here, and it's dropped from the peak, let's say the absolute peak at almost $2 million, and it has currently dropped, well, I mean, it is $100,000, $90,000 drop. So we have seen a 5% correction in Surrey detached homes. And again, Surrey is a particular area. It's not the whole city of Surrey combined, which we showed you at the beginning of this whole video. Let's go into townhouses and see what we're doing. Now, this is going to also be interesting. I'm going to zoom back into 1 year. Townhouses in South Surrey, 1.138. They only dropped $2,000 last month, even in average price. But it does appear that townhouses in North Surrey, Surrey, and Cloverdale all topped out in February to the tune of, let's use, for example, Surrey at 982. Surrey has now dropped to 895. So you're seeing more than a 10% drop in average price. Let's see what benchmark has done. Cloverdale, again, I'm super shocked at this because Cloverdale is usually the leader, not in price, but in increases. And Cloverdale is the one that has come back in benchmark price, but in no other category. Let's check out the number of sales. And this is where the news is, again, cherry picking. You're going to see that there were this crazy amount of sales in 2021. That number came off. Sales in townhouses went back up again at the beginning of the year. And now, because you're seeing such a sharp decline, for instance, here in, again, the central Surrey area, 155 sales in townhouses in March. And now in April, that has dropped to 84. So you're going to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. It's dropped by almost 50%. The prices have not dropped by 50%, and in reality, in that same area, over the same period of time, they went from 948 down to 895. Now that is substantial. That is a lot of money in average price. So it is a declining market. But here's what I like to do. I like to go back and, let's say Surrey is 895. Let's go back and find the last time Surrey was 895. And if you go back and look, it's actually not even as low as December. So in December, they were 859. So the losses that you were seeing, you can't call it losses because you didn't sell in that period of time. But the losses on paper that you're seeing right now are only from January and February, and a little bit in March. You're not in a negative position if you owned any time previous to that. Now, if you want to sell for as much as your neighbor did, that's another thing, but what are you going to do? Now let's pop into apartments, because apartments are actually doing really well, and they seem to be holding up, which is what we expect. When the market rises like crazy, apartments are the last thing to rise. And at that point, they're also the last thing to start falling, because now they become the most affordable asset class to be in. So condos are still going up in every area in Surrey and over the benchmark price. Let's see if that holds up in average price. It looks to me actually like Surrey itself has come down just ever so slightly. We're talking like less than $1,000. South Surrey White Rock is going up. Cloverdale is going up, and North Surrey appears to be almost exact. Oh no, it went up. It went up $10,000 in North Surrey. So prices still rising, even when you use average. However, let's look at sales. I'm going to assume that if my internet works, these are all going to drop down. Hey, there we go. And yes, indeed, every single spot. Well, what about Cloverdale? Did Cloverdale drop? We were at 40 sales. Cloverdale stayed even. Everywhere else lost the number of sales, but they did not lose in price. And in fact, they're still increasing. And just in case you're wondering what the rest of the market is doing, this is exactly what's going on. I've now entered in North Delta, the City of Surrey, Langley, and Abbotsford. Sorry, White Rock and Mission, you're skipping out on this one. But you can see those increases in benchmark price are still there. Nothing's taken the downturn. North Delta appears to be 1.5, and it still went up $900 last month. But I'm going to assume that average price, when we switch over to it, you're going to see that February indeed was the peak. March, my prediction was March 2nd, so this is falling in line with what I thought. And look at the drop-off in Abbotsford. Drop-off January, Abbotsford is now as low as November prices. So Abbotsford, as we expected would happen, shot up more than 50% year over year. Well, guess what, guys? Now we're ending up seeing a bunch of that coming off. But the other cities, Langley and Surrey, and are doing not bad. North Delta appears to be coming off quite a bit as well. But now let's look at that number and see where the actual numbers of sales are. Now, Delta, it looks like it's not doing too bad in number of sales since last month. They went from 79 down to 49. I mean, that's still a pretty sharp decrease. The City of Surrey, now this is a much larger sample set, obviously, but it went from 1,234 sales, that's a funny number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it dropped all the way down to 787 sales just in April. So what is this telling me? Well, benchmark price is obviously a lagging indicator, and I believe that average price is showing us where the market is heading over the next little while. The decision that you have to make for yourself if you're selling is how fast can I sell in order to get the most amount of dollars out, which is obviously important for a lot of people. But this is where I'm going to kind of do the two-faced thing here that real estate agents do. You have to ask yourself, if you're trying to still get into the market, what is it that I'm going to wait for should I choose to wait? Because you're likely going to have the idea in your head, I'm going to wait for prices to go down. Here is why I think waiting for prices to go down is not the right move. And that has to do with if you have a rate hold. If you can get a 5-year rate hold at a good payment and weather out this storm making low payments, in 5 years, I have no doubt that prices will be higher than they are today. The government will do something, whether or not it's turning up interest rates and then turning them back down. Whatever that is, the government will do something in order to not crash the market 45 or 50% and cause our entire economy to go down the tubes, causing everybody to lose their jobs. Because the government doesn't want that. The government doesn't want all that negative stuff. So this is actually why they're turning up interest rates now, bringing down prices ever so slightly. Well, slightly might be as much as 20%. And then I would assume in the future, we're likely going to resume in decreasing interest rates once they get to a spot where they're high enough that they can turn them back down. So there you go. When you're reading doom and gloom news articles, make sure you understand what they're trying to tell you. Are they trying to say, hey, indeed, the number of sales are down, so the market is less active? Or are they trying to tell you prices are down by that much of a percent? And then you have to pay attention to the fact of when are those prices down from and how long did it take to get there? Have I confused you? Well, hopefully not, but if you do need more help, you can always book a call with me right now down below in the description with just a few simple clicks at a time that works best for you, so I can help and give you personalized real estate advice. But this is the key, if you don't already have your own real estate agent. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check us out on Instagram to stay up to date on my listings. Remember to like, subscribe, check out another video before you leave the channel, and we'll see you in a couple of days.